YouTube guitarists, how are you guys doing out there in the big wide world? I hope you guys have had an awesome week, and today we're doing an awesome song which is by one of my favourite bands called Muse. This song, however, is one song that I really enjoyed listening to, and it's one of the songs that I'd like to teach you guys today. Now the song is called Panic Station, and we're going to be learning just the solo, and also I thought that as a bonus I'd chuck in the intro riff as well. But most of the lesson is going to be concerned with the solo, so if you want to learn the rhythm section you're going to have to do that with your ear or find some tab, because this is going to be mainly about the guitar solo as well as the intro. So let's get started. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to talk to you about how to play this awesome song called Panic Station by Muse. So let's start the verse. Okay, so the verse chords are basically made up of an E minor, a G major and an A major, and then you've got this riff going in between. So the main riff, you're going to start on an open position E minor, then you're going to move to a D power chord, which is on the 5th fret here and the 7th fret on the A and the D strings, sliding up to an E power chord here on the same 2 strings, and then you need to hit the below bass note as an open string. So playing it slow, you've got 3 of the open, now it doesn't matter if you catch those power chords as you do that open bass note, it'll still sound pretty good and it'll still sound pretty much like the original, but try and catch that low E, and it's the rhythm there that's really got to be solid and tight, because it's all about rhythm on this intro part. One more time. So use your ear to get used to that rhythm. Also, check out the right hand as I'm doing this. Most people look at just the left, but the right hand's important. The part should start with an upstroke, up, down, up, down, up. Or you could do up, down, 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 down. Both will work fine as long as you start with an upstroke. And that, guys, is basically the intro, and then it adds one little extra thing here, which is a little bar chord at the top. It's a very Prince sort of thing to do, very funk idea. You bar across the 12th fret, which is part of an E minor chord, and you're just taking the top 3 notes, and with the right hand you kind of wiggle it to get your down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's just a down, up when you actually do the original. So you piece it all together, get ready to play along. I'm going to play it nice and slow, and then try and join in if you can. And then you repeat from there. Okay, let's get started with the solo then. Now the solo first part has this alternating bass riff going on. Now you need to get used to hammering on and pulling off to the open bass. And try that with all your fingers. Because that technique's important before you attempt to fill the notes in the gaps. Now, it's just a chromatic descending pattern. It starts on the 12th fret, all the way to the 6th fret before going up 1. And you've got a pattern that sounds like this. Repeat, the notes change slightly, and it now descends down a scale, and it goes from the 12th, the 10th, the 9th, no, the 8th, sorry. Then you go back to chromatic. Back to chromatic, finishing on the 5th fret there. Then it just goes back to the original riff 3 more times. Then the solo, you're going to be sliding up. I slide up with the 3rd finger, but if you can get it with the 1st finger, it will set you up nicely for what the solo is going to be, which is the next section, which I'm going to talk to you about. So take those bass notes first and learn it as an individual section. Like I say, get used to hammering on and pulling off before moving on. Then we've got the solo notes coming through, and it's best to think of the solo as separate chord shapes rather than attempting it, just learning the notes. If you can see the chord shapes that it's picking out, that'll really help you learn it much quicker. Okay, so the solo starts on the 12th fret, you slid up, 3 picks there, Then you're going to pick down an arpeggio of an E minor chord. An arpeggio is just the notes of a chord broken into individual notes. That's the E minor. Then you do the same thing, picking down a G major chord. So the notes change slightly. You're going to need to roll the first finger. This is the most difficult part of the riff. Rolling the first finger across the 12th fret is quite a difficult thing to do, but it's worth doing that roll so you mute each string rather than getting a full chord. So you've got the first chord followed by this chord. The second chord is this exact same shape slid up 2 frets. Then it's a C major chord picked in this position, which looks like this. So make sure you've got that kind of chord shape in your mind, but you're going to pick them individually. Then it repeats back on E minor. So let me play it to you, the pattern that just repeats again and again. Repeat that pattern through all the chord shapes, right? I'm going to play it to you now. See if you can play along. If you're having trouble with each of these chord shapes, make sure you work on them individually before moving on to this section right now, where I'm going to play it nice and slowly so you guys can try and play along, see which notes you're picking out, and then adjust, rewind, and try and figure out where things are going wrong. That's the best way I've found when learning from a video lesson like this. So, here we go. 2, 3. Two things to bear in mind with that solo. Well done guys if you managed to play along with that. That's pretty impressive if you did it in one go. The two key things that I wanted to make a point of here. The roll on that first finger. Make sure it is clean and accurate, and the same with the second position. Now to get from this position to the final chord, this is my final point, you're going to need to use the second finger and you get that sort of slide sound when picking down that chord. That's a good thing. You could do it with the first finger, but it doesn't quite have the same ring to it. I quite like having that slide in there. Okay guys, that is the main sections. I kind of split that up into 3 different things. You got the riff, you got that part, you've got the first part of the solo, and then you've got the picking arpeggioed actual solo. It's one of those songs that is really addictive once you get the riff going, especially that descending pattern. It's a very Muse thing to do. I've noticed it in a few of their tracks before, and it's well worth getting under your fingers because it's great for learning riffs and things, especially if you've got 7-string guitar. You can really get some meat behind that. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you're a subscriber, do hit the like button and post a comment. I do enjoy reading every single comment that goes on there, and I try to reply to you all as well for taking the time. Really appreciate you for watching the video. And if you're not a subscriber, you can hit the subscribe button, and that will tell you when I'm releasing a new video. Have an awesome week as usual guys. Keep practicing, keep being inspired, and keep playing the guitar as much as possible. It is an awesome instrument. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.